The Delta Downs Insider. Sponsored by the Louisiana Quarter Horse Breeders Association, supporting the quarter horse racing and breeding industry in the state of Louisiana.
It's just a cool Breeds Champions Passage and Jethro Almighty on the outside. They hit the line together.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Greg Thompson of StallionResearch.com, and welcome to episode 11 of the Delta Downs Insider. This week, we're going to look back at last weekend's $50,000 Miss Polly Classic, probably the top older horse race in the country, and it was here at Delta Downs in Vinton, Louisiana. We're also going to look forward to this upcoming weekend, which will feature the Grade 2 Firecracker Futurity. 10 top 2-year-olds slated to go battle it out here on the race course at Delta Downs. We're also going to continue the series on Vals Fortune, the Louisiana-bred legendary quarter horse runner. But without further ado, let's get right into it. The Delta Downs Insider Race Recap.
The Delta Downs Insider Race Recap.
We look at the $50,000 Miss Polly Classic with track announcer Don Stevens with the call.
And they're off for the Miss Polly Classic at Delta Downs. Almost losing the rider, was throwing fits on the far outside. Coming away fast here, Noble Jess going to the lead near the inside. A whole separate game now moves up. Rumbling up on the outside is Cheral Kid, who's digging in. At the rail, it's Georgina. Big battle for the lead down to the wire. Cheral Kid right to the line with Georgina. That was ultra close in the Miss Polly Classic.
Jockey Martin Rubicalva's furious rally aboard Cheral Kid thrust him to the wire in the closing yards to nip. George Haddad trains Georgina at the wire. It was the 15th victory for the Streakin' La Jolla gelding that was bred in Texas by Maylene Cattle Company, who is also the owner. The gelding won the Miss Polly Classic in 2010 as well, and finished third in the race in 2011. And now he makes it 2 for 3 in the race with this victory in this year's rendition. He pushes his earnings to over $390,000. That'll do it for this week's Insider Race Recap. Stick around, we got plenty more of the Delta Downs Insider after these words from the LQHBA. The LQHBA annual yearling sale will take place on Friday and Saturday, August 3rd and 4th at the Coshada Casino Resort Pavilion in Kinder, Louisiana. 505 yearlings slated to sell. That's August 3rd and 4th, Friday and Saturday in Kinder, Louisiana. Find your next champion at the LQHBA sale. We continue the series with another installment of a look back at the legendary Louisiana-bred runner, Vals Fortune. In Part 4, we continue moving towards the climax of the LQHBA Triple Crown. To this point, Vals Fortune has won the Mardi Gras Futurity under heavy urging by Gilbert Ortiz, strolled to victory in the LQHBA Sale Futurity, and qualified into the LQHBA Breeders' Futurity, and a shot at the $500,000 bonus being offered by the LQHBA for the 2-year-old that could pull off a win in all 3 events.
And number 10, Vals Fortune, is owned by Teddy Abrams Jr., trained by Heath Taylor. The jockey is Gilbert Ortiz. Vals Fortune eligible for a $500,000 bonus if he wins this race, in addition to the purse money. And they're off, and Vals Fortune once again broke out very nicely. Toast to Topper on the inside is running a huge one. In between them, it's Dash and Snowman, along with First Down Bred and JT Tomcat Scat. On the outside, Vals Fortune is in complete control, and it's a huge payday for Vals Fortune as he wins the LQHBA Futurity.
That was the last year they had the Triple Crown bonus awarded here in Louisiana, and it was a $500,000 bonus for any horse that won the Mardi Gras Futurity, the Sale Futurity, and the Breeders' Futurity, and he accomplished all those feats. And the money was distributed between myself, the breeders being Joe By and Billy Foreman, and Chad Hart being the Stallion breeder of the horse.
He wasn't quite done with his 2-year-old campaign, as he capped it off with a win in the $100,000 restricted Grade 2 Louisiana Champions Day Quarter Horse Juvenile Stakes at the fairgrounds. He took home year-ending honors as the AQHA Champion 2-year-old and AQHA Champion 2-year-old gelding for 2003.
Vals Fortune was a nice 2-year-old, one of the best 2-year-olds here in Louisiana, you know, winning the Triple Crown and running all over the country in Louisiana. New Orleans, winning the Mardi Gras and coming back to Delta Downs. and winning the Leeburg, and then winning the Sale Futurity and the breeders at Louisiana Downs. And he made a lot of money, and it's right now, the way the money is now, he probably would have made $1.5 million or $2 million, you know, the way the money is now these days. And but he was one of the great 2-year-olds that I rode here in Louisiana.
We'll continue next week on the series on Vals Fortune.
The Insider Race Preview.
This coming weekend, all eyes in Vinton, Louisiana at Delta Downs will be feasting on the Grade 2 Firecracker Futurity. And there's the fastest qualifier, Shake 'em Little Corona, with David Alvarez aboard, being chased home by the second fastest qualifier, Ronnie James, in their qualifying trial on June 16th. The third fastest qualifier, Mr. Einstein, dazzled in his trial as well with David Alvarez aboard for another qualifier for trainer Bobby Martinez. Maybe the most intriguing of all the horses in the race is the most accomplished, the Harrods Entertainment Futurity winner, Interesting Man, who finished as the 5th fastest qualifier for jockey Jared Deschamps aboard for trainer Javier Contreras. Now we switch from the 2-year-olds to the 3-year-olds in the Firecracker Derby, as we look at the top qualifier, Runaway Wagon, taking his huge strides in his trial race to capture the top spot with David Alvarez aboard for trainer Bobby Martinez. Heath Taylor trained the Lizard King, rolled in his trial heat with John Hamilton aboard to qualify second for the finals. And Janet Van Bever trained SS Trick or Treat with Alfonso Lujan aboard shows some closing kick on the outside to win and qualify third. There are 2 other stakes races on Saturday at Delta, the $20,000 Paradise Stakes, as well as the $50,000 Open Graduation Stakes. And that'll do it for this week's Delta Insider Preview.
The Delta Downs Insider Stallion Spotlight.
This week's spotlighted stallion is the now deceased Streakin' La Jolla, who passed away in 2009, but his offspring keep making headlines even in his absence. He earned this honor by his son Chiral's Kids' victory in the past weekend's $50,000 Miss Polly Classic. He is one of those more prolific sires in history, as his offspring have earned over $23 million thus far from 20 crops to race. He has put 83 stakes winners in the winner's circle and sired 2 AQHA champions. He is also the sire of many colts that have gone off and made outstanding sires themselves, most notably the champion sire, Mr. Jess Perry. And that does it for this week's Delta Downs Insider Stallion Spotlight. That'll do it for another episode of the Delta Downs Insider. We look forward to being at Vinton, Louisiana at Delta Downs for the upcoming Grade 2 Firecracker Futurity weekend. And if you can't be at the racetrack this coming weekend, be sure to go to aqha.com/racing and watch the Q Racing videos, all the live racing as well as all the race replays from the partnering racetracks across the country. I'm Greg Thompson of StallionResearch.com, and we'll be back next week here on the Delta Downs Insider.